Hey team, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, March 12th. Thank you for jumping on tonight. I'm really excited about tonight's call. And not only because I get the opportunity to be on a call with you guys, but also because I get to bring my sister back on the call. So it's going to be fun. I think everyone here knows my sister, but if you don't, you'll get to meet her, or get to know her story tonight. So tonight we're going to bring it back to launching, relaunching, transforming your Beachbody business. This month is when I signed up 5 years ago. So I signed up March 31st of 2014. So it'll be 5 years. I actually remember when Audrey announced her 5 years, and I was like, holy crap, 5 years. And one of the things that, I'm grateful for is being here year after year, because this journey really changes you from the inside out. So stick around. I think that, there's always a blessing to all of this. So I know that when I signed up back in March of 2014, and I started to understand, not right away, but when I started to understand the business side, which was, I believe my first live training was, I think it was either April or May of 2014. I went to a live event and I heard all the stories and I was so pumped, when I left. And I remember saying, I'm going to be an Emerald coach. It was like a Thursday and I'm like, I'm going to be an Emerald coach by Sunday. Like I got it under control, right? And I left and I went and I got to work and I was, right? Obviously we don't get announced till till that next Thursday, but I got announced as an Emerald coach. And from that moment, I started to really just look into my challenge groups and look into, my world to see who would be a good coach, who would be, to identify coaches. And right away, I knew that my sister would be an amazing coach because of the nature of coaching. Right, from your challenge groups, someone who's motivational, someone who, takes the time to go into the challenge groups and really spends time in there, not only for, themselves, but also because they want to genuinely help, their peers. And she's always had that in her too, which is why she's a counselor, right? She pours into her kids. And so I knew that she had the qualities of a good coach, even though at that time she didn't see it herself. And so, I remember telling her and she was like, yeah, no, I'm getting my Shakeology for the discount and that's about it. But as time went on and she continued to, work on herself, she realized that, what, she could be a good coach, right? And she came into the business and my sister took it all the way to 1 star, and then we lost her, you guys. Why? Because one of these next 5 things that she's going to share tonight was not in place. And so she's been around, right? She comes in and out. Because she believes in Beachbody, because she believes in the products, and because she sees that it works. I mean, I'm home and I'm working from home and I'm, taking Matthias to school and picking him up. And, now I get to be home with my mom. And so she knows the business works. But, while she was doing programs and then she would leave and then she would come back, like I said, there was something missing. And so when we sat down, we got to discussing what was it that didn't fully click, that didn't keep her here continuously. And so tonight I'm going to go over the 5 things that she's going to discuss, but I also want you to pay attention because as she tells her comeback story, I want you to pick those 5 things out through her story. And it's important because I want you to also see yourself in the story, because there might be something that you connect with that you might be struggling with. And so I want you to really, pay close attention, take notes. And then at the end, we're going to focus on invitation, and this is going to change your business. So the first one is, and I think that that's one of the main things that we might be taking very lightly, is why did you become a coach? It's so important to know why you became a coach, because if you don't have that very clear, Beachbody is the first thing that goes out the window when life gets tough. When life gets tough, Beachbody is the last thing that you want to think about. Beachbody is the last thing that you want to invest your time in, right? But when you know your why is when, this becomes a priority. So know your why. What's your monthly goal? That's very important. You have to have target. You must have confidence in the products, in the business, and in yourself. The 4 vital behaviors, which if you aren't aware, they've been changed. They've been updated, right? There were 3 and then there were 4, and now they've been revamped. Be proof the product works, personal development, connect, invite, follow up. That was revamped. Before it was invite, invite, invite. Now it's connect, invite, follow up, and then get people results is the 4th one. Get people results. And then the last one is track your business. That is a huge one. Track your business. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to my sister so that she can share how these 5 things, have helped her in getting her business right. I'm going to put it in speaker view. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, first, gotta just jump in at any point, Yes. So, excuse me. Hi, everyone. My name is Elena. So I just call my sister by her middle name because we grew up, all of us, all our siblings, like calling each other by our middle name. So she actually calls me Mari, but no one else is allowed to call me that. Just a heads up, no matter how much we like each other. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am 31 years old. It's so weird because I think this is the second time I've actually said that out loud. So I'll just say 30. I'm 30. And I am a counselor I started as a college counselor in a charter school, and now I'm working the managerial role. And my job is a little bit complicated in terms of explaining it. There's no elevator pitch for it. So basically, just 2 things you should know about my job is I travel often in my role, or 3 things. 2, I manage, and 3, I work remotely. So thank God I am available to be working from home pretty often at this point in my life. I'm really excited about that. And what else should I tell you about me? I enjoy wine, food, and I'm single, in case you have a cute brother. Just saying. So I'm a little nervous. So, this will be, I'll be talking, but my sister might jump in just conversationally wise, just because I'm a little on the nervous side. So about 5 years ago, I'm going to tell you my Beachbody story now. About 5 years ago, my sister started working out from home. And at that time, I was living in upstate New York, and I had lost about 30-ish pounds on my own. I was doing a lot of Zumba, working out a lot from the gym, until I had to move upstate, where I don't have a license. I don't know how to drive. So I couldn't get around. And I basically was doing nothing. And I was already on a 6-month plateau. My sister was getting results through T25, and she was super excited about this business, and she hit me up and she's like, hey, you should do this. And I'm like, no, child, thank you. That's not gonna work for me. In my head, I was magically gonna get a solution. I was magically gonna get licensed overnight and start driving and going to Zumba at the nearest gym near me, which obviously that's not how things happen. So she kept annoying me, because that's the kind of relationship that we have like any other sibling. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna buy it so she can leave me alone and move on to the next person. And so she was like attacking her war market, guys. She was not playing. So I bought T25 for $200. In my head, I was like, yo, this joint is not gonna work. Like, she's freaking nuts. And the reality is, I'll never forget what she told me. And she was like, I think this is maybe the second or third time we spoke on the phone. And I remember clearly because I was in my office, and I guess she was getting annoyed, or maybe it's because we have that relationship. But she was like, okay, then stay fat. And I was like, no, she didn't. And I wasn't offended because she's my sister. She's like, we have that relationship where she can say that to me. But she tapped into something else where it was like, well, what are you doing? You know what I mean? There's only one other person who's ever really kind of shut me down in that way. And it was my cousin, who was basically like, keep complaining about your weight and your plateau because nothing's going to happen if you don't do something, is really what I heard her say. And so I bought the program. And then I was like, well, I might as well do it because I literally am doing nothing else about being the same weight. And at that time, I think it was like 180. So I had gone down from 215 down to 180. I hope I did the math right. It was at like 35 pounds. And how long is that program? 12 weeks, got it? 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something? 10 weeks, right? Oh, and then I did an additional 2 after that. I ended up losing through that program because there's additional, like
the gamma?
The gamma, yeah.
No, that's 4 weeks, so 14.
Oh, so 14. I did that as well. And I saw results. I finally, after 6 months of weighing 180, I went all the way down to 168. I was looking good. I'll tell you right now, like, I don't know, that was so transformative for me because I was in upstate New York with no friends. I was like 25 at the time. I didn't have any friends. And so connecting virtually with people was so cool. Number 2, I was looking freaking real good. It was the lowest and healthiest weight I had ever been. And number 3, it also it allowed me to connect with people online and my sister and my family in a way that was so different. And it really brought out these, like, I don't know, like, the talents and skills, I guess, that I had. And then, like my sister said, she was basically like, yo, you should be a coach. And I'm like, I wasn't going to say no to her. She already called me fat once. So I'll be honest, like, this is, I guess, the hard part, because I sat and thought about, like, what happened? How does the story go? And the truth is, like, I love the Beachbody community, but there was so much lack of belief in myself. And I think that's really where it starts, like, just lack of belief. Like, I thought, like, well, this is cool. Like, you can do, it's kind of the same way I saw the program. Like, this program won't work for me, but it will work for my sister. And that's how I saw the business. Like, this business won't work for me, but it will work for my sister. And even though I got it all the way to 1 star, I still carried that with me. Like, this is not going to work for me. Even though I saw the results, like, I kept thinking up here, right? Because it doesn't matter what you actually see. It's whatever is up here that's really setting the tone. And so I don't know how long I worked the business. I do know that it did, it did come at a time where I needed that extra income. And then I just stopped. And then there were times where I tried to come back, and then I just wouldn't. I wouldn't actually commit to this business. And I would sit back and I would watch. I would watch Audrey. I would watch my sister. I would actually stop. Like, I was like, every day I spent my 1 hour, 2 hours a day. And I have the people come home and watch Netflix. Like, no, I'm going to go online and watch Beachbody people. Like, that's legit what I would do. And I did that for years. Like, I would go, and sometimes I was more invested than other times. Like, I would go to the events. I was trying to come back. I'm like, oh, it's just my hobby. I'm going to go join the groups. And I just couldn't figure out what was this tug? Like, what was coming? Why was I still coming back to this community? And so it's interesting because I hear my sister say, it's been 5 years. And I'm like, shit, where did the time go? Right? Because she always says it's like the time is going to pass anyway. And the time surely did pass. And so here we are 5 years later, and I'm still watching. People are still in their business. People are still growing, and life keeps going, and I'm still changing. And so in that time, some of you guys may know my story. Like, I suffer from anxiety and depression, emotional eating. And so my weight obviously has fluctuated a lot in those 5 years. And so I've always gone back to Beachbody as my resource to bring my weight back down, and it has never failed me. And so if you see like, girl, but what, you look a little thick. Yes, I'm looking thick, girl, because the programs work, but if I'm eating, it's not gonna work. You understand what I'm saying? So just in case you're new around here and you're thinking like, why the girl chubby? Well, we're working on it. And so and so I always
The programs work if you work.
right. Not if your mouth works. And so I always came back because there was always a solution for me. And as I got older and like real life hit me, like I didn't have time to go to the gym and do all of that. So just for that. So that's kind of like, that's a mouthful, excuse me. So that's kind of like my story of who I am, where I was in this business, and along with my physical transformation. I've had some awesome transformations with Beachbody. So let's see, I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so then let's bring it back to this last year. I'm still watching people, new people coming onto the business, being successful, and my life is still happening. And what's happening in my life is that it's not summing up to what I thought it would be. Now, on paper, I'm very successful. And I'm very blessed, to be honest. I went to an Ivy League institution. I have a master's degree. I have an amazing family. I have my own apartment, and I live on my own. I have awesome friends. My job is wonderful. My students are wonderful, and yet something in here is still missing. Right? And I don't know if you guys saw my post of returning back as a coach, because anytime there was a call, I would actually look up coaches beforehand and I would, study them. I'm so extra. And I don't know if anybody did that. I'm not that important. And in my hello, I'm a Beachbody coach again post, I talked about how there's been this tugging. And it's not a tugging of my heart for the last year, but it's a tugging for the last 4 or 5 years of, you're made for more. There's something more. What I've worked for is awesome, but I feel like we are made in God's image in a way that tugs at your heart, that you're made for so much more, so much bigger. And so the average of what society expects for you is not enough. And it's not enough, right? And I'll explain in a second why that's not enough for me, because it's okay if that's enough for certain people, but I'll tell you why it's not for me. Average for me didn't society tells you go get a job and you're going to be fine, but you're not fine, right? You're not actually fine. For me, I've noticed that I'm not actually fine. I find myself now in massive amount of debt. And I'm being honest with you because I'm not ashamed to tell you that, because that's actually probably most people's reality. And that may not be your reality, but it is mine. And I'm not ashamed to tell you because I'm taking responsibility for what I've done, but also I'm finding a solution. And so, my sister said, she pointed out 4 different or 5 different reasons or whatever it was. And, I'm starting from the top, my why, right? I found myself not only something tugging at my heart, which, by the way, if you haven't figured it out, I call God, but also I have a huge problem. And the problem is that I'm in massive amount of debt. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is not the life that I pictured for myself. And also I have a freaking huge problem that even though I get paid well, for whatever reason, I just feel just above water. And so I'm still watching Beachbody and I'm like, I need a solution. This is my solution. And it just clicked. It was that moment that it just clicked for me. So many coaches will always say oh, what's the one thing you wish you could tell people? And it's I wish I would have started earlier. You start when when it's your turn to start. It wasn't my turn to start 4 or 5 years ago. Would have been cool, of course, but and maybe I would be in a totally different place, but this is my time to start now. And I'm going to tell you how I know that. Number one, not only do I hear the tugging, number two, I just don't give a fuck. Like literally, when your back is up against the wall, you don't care. You'll do what you need to do in order to make anything work. So one of my belief was the first thing, right, that I had an issue with. The second, I'm going to get back to that. The second thing was, shoot, I just lost my train of thought. I forgot what the second one is. Hopefully I'll remember. But the third thing is that even though I believed in Beachbody, I didn't believe in myself, but I also felt icky and embarrassed to invite. And so you could love the products, you can believe in the products, but if you feel weird about inviting, it's a wrap. This whole business is uninviting. And so that's why I said I didn't give enough, because when you're like, oh shoot, I need an extra X amount of money to make it work, you're going to do what it takes. And so I realized I needed extra income. And I was like, I'm going to do my research. I'm like, let me see where this leads me. And I'm telling you, when God is working, he's working, and the things will line up. I ended up finding a coach, a coach who's about 1 year in, a teacher, someone like, you just, that person that you're like, wow, I could really relate to this person's story. And she talked about her story. She talked about her success. And then she talked about how she did it simple. I was like, I need something simple. I need something that, at the end of the day, after I'm done meeting with students or traveling or wherever I am, I can dedicate X amount of hours, whether that's 1 to 4 hours throughout the day, like a part-time job, so I can make the extra income. I need something simple. I don't need this overcomplicated. And she made it simple. I think my sister's we're gonna talk about that later on, about simple on how to invite. And I was like, I went to my sister and I was like scared, because I've gone to my sister before, and I was like, I've gone to her and I'm like, I think I might dive or dabble into this. And I went a little scared because I maybe I have commitment issues, but I was like, I've done this before. What if she's like, no, girl, you're on this again? But I went to her when I felt like I was ready. And I told her, like, hey, look at what I found. I'm going to do it. And we'll explain the invitation process in a second. But let me tell you something. I used to struggle to hit Success Club before. And I would come up with every excuse in the world. Like, nobody wants to buy this. Like, and the reality is like, I just wasn't inviting, and I was too nervous to invite. I hit Success Club in 1 week last month, 6. I hit Success Club 6 in 10 days this month, and I'm not done yet. Why? What, like this. I haven't been, when did I come back? I don't even know, like 2 days ago.
You're crazy. Mid-month last month. So February, that's when we started talking about it again, mid-February.
So like mid-February, I was just like, I'm going to do it because I need the extra money. And I implemented what I found, what I shared with my sister in terms of the invite. And I've just been in there. And this didn't work for me, belief. And also, number one, but number two, because I didn't want to put myself out there, because I was thinking in my head, like, what are people going to think? They're going to be mean to me. You know what? When you're highly motivated, you really just don't care about those things. And that's really what's changed. Maybe because when you hit 30, like, things just don't really matter to you. And you're like, I'm going to do this anyway. My friends, my coworkers, these are the same people I've known for 4 years. They've seen me just like my sister has seen me, like, want to be a Beachbody coach. And I could have been stuck on, like, el qué dirán, like, what are people going to think about me trying to come back and try to do this? Well, ain't nobody going to try to pay my extra debt that I got, so I'm going to have to try anyway. So that's the second or third thing I wanted to mention. Sorry, I'm like all over the place. But I think, let me see, I just want to make sure I covered all the things. I I think what I really wanted to mention before I kind of throw it back to my sister is that when you hear, because I talked about this a little bit, is that I had this calling and this tugging. And when you hear that, you need to listen to that. I have been hearing it, but not willing to go with that feeling for quite some time. And I don't know, I can't talk about the past. I don't know if I was ready at that time. I don't believe, to be quite honest, that I was ready. Because I'm telling you, I have never pushed as hard as I'm pushing now. I haven't. Like, I still think about, like, how did I make 1 star with the lack of belief and, like, just kind of, like, dabbling in stuff, you know? And that makes me wonder, like, shoot, like, if I could do that kind of half-assing it, what can I do now that I'm, like, all in?
Full blasting it.
Full blasting it?
Full blasting it.
Full blasting it. So that's kind of my story and who I am, and kind of jumping back into this. And I guess we'll talk a little bit more about the logistical piece of it. Because I want to be able to share with you guys what we have been doing and what's been working. Like, who is this random girl coming out of nowhere talking about Success Club 6 in a week? Yeah, it's possible. I know I used to be the person that looked and be like, who is she? Like, no, that's not going to work for me. Trust me, people have seen me Guys, I am the most inconsistent person in the world. And if I can hit Success Club in a week, so can you. Like, people have seen me come and go. Like, that's why I was, like, also a little embarrassed. I was like, people going to be like, she on her thing again? Who cares? But anyway, let's jump into that.
So I just want to go over really quickly, and then I want to go through the 4 vitals, and then I want to focus on the inviting, okay? So if you were listening, she shared her why, right? Her why was a couple things.
God-given.
First one, right? The first one was that tugging in her heart, and let me tell you something. Jorge and I have been on my sister about coaching since I mentioned it back in 2014, because we know her on that personal level, because we know, who she is, what type of person she is. Not only is she caring, but she also has a gift of motivation. Like, if you're in the challenge group, you've seen that she comes in and she'll do lives, and she generally wants the challengers in there to succeed. And so she shares the things she finds out, but also she's very real in how she shares. And sorry about that. So she's genuine about how she shares, but she does it with so much enthusiasm, right? And so we've known, also she's a great writer. She expresses herself well. And so, people want to be able to relate, to connect, and she has that. And so, for a while, we've seen it, and with many of you guys, right? You're a coach because your coach invited you for a reason, right? The beauty of this business is that we get to choose who we work with. So we said, hey, you should be a coach, is because we see qualities in you that perhaps you haven't seen yet, which is what happened with my sister. And so seeing her, since last month, take off in her business, and, I love seeing her stories. I know many of you guys follow her. She's not only inspirational and motivational, but she's funny and she's relatable. And one of the things that I know that she missed sharing is that, my sister has been struggling with her weight for many years, and she's always tried to look for someone that she can identify with. And so, Audrey and I had a conversation earlier today, and, people think that if they're not at their goal weight, they can't be a coach, because, who's going to want to join me if I can't show results? People join you if you are relatable, if they can see themselves in you, right? And if you show them progress, if you show them results, you don't have to show them a 6-pack, right? They want to see you in this journey, but they want to be able to also know that this works. Not that you started in March, and then at the end of, March, you have nothing to show for, right? You have to be able to show them that this really works, that this is the real deal. They want to make sure that whatever they're, investing their money in, these products do work. And so if you are generally able to show that to people, they're going to, join you, because people want to do something that they see themselves, in that person. So my sister has been, trying to find someone in our network that she can identify herself with. And because she never did, she just started to do it herself. Right?
I'm so glad we talk often, because I feel like we know each other's stories better than we know ours. Cause I'm like, oh yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
I remember I think I put that in one of my posts, that even before deciding to do Beachbody again, I was felt this calling, there's a gap. There's a gap in social media where I see plus size women doing their thing, but I didn't see anybody that I felt like I could relate to. You know what I mean? Finding all the qualities that I wanted, all the right mix. I would watch all these different people to kind of get that. And I was like, well, I can be that person. I can create that. I think my sister recently asked me, did you ever, was your weight ever a thing that held you back from being a coach? And you know what's funny? It's not. It's not I maybe once thought about it, ay Dios mío, I gotta put the rolls out there for everybody to see. But I was never oh, I'm too heavy to be a coach. That's never, I thought about every other excuse, but I never thought about that one be, as an excuse, which is interesting.
So that's one of her whys, right? She went into other ones that you heard. The other one was number 2 was, set your goal. What is your monthly goal? I think that's important, because when you are, shooting at nothing, more likely than not, that's exactly what you're going to hit, right? There's a saying, but it doesn't go like that. But I'm sure that you guys get the gist of that. And it really is. If you come into every month, saying, I'm gonna hit this, I'm gonna do this, but you haven't set a goal, you haven't said I'm gonna help 3 people this month, or I'm gonna help 5, or I'm gonna help 10, then you're not gonna help anybody, because you're really not, you don't know who you're gonna help, right? But also putting a value to it, meaning, you know what, for me, it was, I want to buy 2 bags of Shakeology, because I don't want to incur, additional expense on Jorge when I first started my business. And so I said to Audrey, what do I need to do for that? She said, help 5 people. And I said, bet. And that's why that was my goal every single month, when I started 5 years ago. Oh crap, that's 60 months, right? So that's what I've been doing, right? Consecutively, knowing that, you know what, I'm gonna make sure that those 2 bags are paid for, so that it doesn't come out of my husband's pocket. And so when you make a goal monthly and it's important to you, then no matter what, you make it happen. So that's number 2. You have to know what you're working towards on a monthly basis, because if you don't, then it's not important and you're not going to hit it, right? The third one was, having confidence in this business, having confidence in the products, and having confidence, in yourself. And so they're all very important. They're all very important, because if you don't believe in the products, then you're going to, walk on eggshells when you talk about the products, because you're not confident in them, because you don't use them, because you don't know what it does in your body, because you don't know what kind of results they can produce, because you don't invest in them, right? So it's so important to get to know the products, to use the products, so that when you speak about it, you genuinely speaking from here, from the heart, because it changed your life. So it's important to have confidence in the products, then having confidence in the business, right? Because how are you going to invite someone onto your team, right, if you don't believe that this business is doing something for you? Whether it's paying a bag of Shakeology, right? Whether it's paying a phone bill, a car note, whatever it is, as long as you know that this business is doing that for you, you confidently will go out there and say, yo, this business gave me a free trip. You got to do this with me, right? And you will speak with that with passion because you believe it. And if you don't believe it, then it's not going to work for anyone that you bring on, because you're not going to be confident in speaking to them about it. And the last one, which is so important, is, and that's going to bring us into one of the vital behaviors, is confidence, guys. I know many people come into this business, me included, with low confidence level, with low self-esteem, right? And if you don't start to work on yourself, then, and I mean as a whole, I don't mean just on your fitness, right? Because working on the fitness is amazing, obviously, because you want to showcase our products. You want to showcase our fitness programs, our nutritional programs. You want to be able to show people that they do work, right? And obviously, as you work on yourself on the outside, right, that gives you confidence, right? But that's only one piece of it. Because if you're not working on this muscle right here, this is the most important one. Not the abs and not this, none of that. None of that holds true if you don't work on this first. So I think that I want you to speak about, what changed for you this time around with personal development.
So, I mean, I've been doing a lot of development. Like I told you guys, I really struggle with my anxiety and my depression, and definitely a lot with like personal confidence and self-esteem. And one of the biggest things, first of all, for me, it was like plugging into therapy. That was really important. And let me tell you, like, even though I just started, like doing the business thing again, please don't misunderstand that Beachbody has transformed my life and my family's life from the very beginning, whether that was a physical transformation or just opening our eyes up to just a new life, new possibilities. I just want to make that really, really clear that if it wasn't for something like Beachbody, I would have never, there's just so many paths that have been made aware to us that we probably wouldn't have known if it wasn't for this business. And like PD is one of them, and needing to work on yourself. And so for me, I've always loved like self-help books and stuff like that. So when Beachbody was like, is that organization's like, oh, you got to do PD. Well, I was like, oh, I'm already doing that. I love doing that. But definitely plugging into therapy, and then continuing to do the personal development. Let me tell you, even though I'm like gun-ho excited about doing the business, it's kind of like when you start a new fitness journey, you're like really, really excited, but like your mindset is always like battling you. You know what I mean? And like for me, like just in the last like it's so weird. It's like a whole roller coaster. Like in one day I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I believe in myself. I'm going to invite 50 people. And then I'm like, I'm a loser. Like, it's so crazy, like the way that your mind can work. And honestly, the only thing that keeps me in check is, hi, mi amor. The only thing that keeps me in check is my PD. And I just want to encourage you, number one, like if you are the way I've been doing PD lately is whatever's in my heart, whatever's calling, whatever I'm like, I really need this. So the first book I read this year was about habits, because I was like, I got to change my habits, like my money habits. I got to change my food habits. I got to change my exercise habits. I really got to like understand the science behind habits. And my second one was Miracle Morning. Like I need to like win my day, like, and it has to start in the morning. Mind you, this is before even deciding I was going back into the business. But by then I was like, I kind of knew. And then I'm like, I'm on my third book now. Like, how many books have you read? I'm not trying to be shady, but like I'm on my third book now. And this third book is 10X. Like, how are we going to blow this shit out of the water?
No, that's your fourth book.
Oh, what's my third book? Oh, yeah. Forgot. My bad. That's my fourth book. My third book was, what is it called, Karen?
It's called it's something with a bad word.
Yeah, something was like I told Carolina,
It's
how to
called,
not give
hang
up,
on.
like
How
that.
to un-F yourself.
Yeah, basically, I don't need any more encouraging with F-bombs, but I was like, I want to read this book. That was my third book, and then my fourth book this year so far is 10X. So if you're not consuming and how to unfuck yourself, yes, thank you, Lisa. Like if you're not consuming PD and reading books and listening to audio and gaining even just one nugget and implementing it, like every time like my mind starts to spiral, I go back to one of those books. Like, what is my one thing that I learned from that book? Implement it. Like, unfuck yourself, doesn't matter. You know, whatever it is. And you got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it and pressing in every single day. And you can't be the person that says, oh yeah, I've done enough PD. Then why you not rich, bro? Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like, what, like that doesn't make any sense. You've done enough PD. Like, no, you never have enough PD. Like, I'm sorry, I'm like not trying to be rude, but like my face is just naturally like that. Like you can't, like there's never enough of anything. Like, oh, I've had enough exercise for my time of living. It just doesn't add up. And remember, PD also is not just the subtle art about not giving a fuck. All right, people. Y'all just want to hear me say that F word multiple times. I'm getting hyped. I got hyped again. This is what happens. I put the hoops on and I get real hyped. But yeah, that's been really helpful because, you know, you don't just magically turn confident. You just don't magically, your head, the little critic in your head doesn't magically just shut off. You have to put it in check, and you have to put it in check every single day. And so if I'm feeling sorry about myself and if I'm like, oh, nobody's going to buy, even though like, I just, you know, like that, we know that that's not true. Like there's plug into the PD and don't make it complicated. What's the book that you're reading? Just plug into that. You know what I mean?
Right. So we're going to move along. The last thing I want to say about PD is, you know, be honest with yourself. You know, we all say we're doing PD, but how long have you been on that book that you're currently on, right? Did it take you a month? Are you still on the same book since last year, right? Like I'm a slow reader, which is why I do Audible, but also find yourself, you know, someone who will hold you accountable, you know, like my sister, you know, is reading a book or two a month, right? There's someone like Audrey who'll be reading like one book a day. No, I'm just kidding. No, but she'd be reading like one book a week, right? But like find someone who's going to shout you out on your shit too, right? She'll be like, hold up, you on the same book, you know? So someone who's going to challenge you basically, because this is important. This is important in order to stay in this business. All right. So you guys know, be proof the product works. We're not going to talk about that. You know, get people results is important. You know, we're going to, we know what that means. That means that if you're getting yourself results, then you're bringing people along to get them results, right? Which means that you're not just making a transaction. People are not transactions. You know, we are genuinely helping people get results here. Because if you are not able to get them results, you're not going to, you know, it's like failing them. It's failing them as a coach. It's failing this business, right? So make sure that you are showing people what you're doing in your health and fitness to get yourself results to then pay that forward, right? So first is leading yourself and getting results, because if you're not doing that, get that in check ASAP so that then you can get people results. And then we're going to talk about connect, invite, and follow up for the last 15 minutes of the call. And actually, it's probably like the last 5 minutes, and then you will open it up for questions. And then the last one, before we talk about the inviting, guys, track your business. How many times did I hear that in my last 5 years? And I'll be like, whatever. Right? And let me tell you something. I've tried everything in their mama to track my business. I've tried the spreadsheet. I tried my notebook. I tried apps. I've tried everything, right? And what has worked for me is a damn business activity tracker. It's simple, and because it's updated, it's so good. It tells you exactly what you should be doing in the day. all I did, I don't have it with me right now, but babe, can you pass me if you see it, my business activity? You guys know, you've seen it before. All I did was print it, right? I sent it to FedEx or Kinko's, whatever, and I binded it and I printed 50 copies of it, right? Or 52 for 52 days. So this is what it looks like. Obviously, you see all my people I've invited. Yeah. So this is what it looks like, right? This is the new one. We'll post it in the event page. It gives you everything you need to do, and then it gives you, an opportunity to write people's names. This might not work for everyone. Maybe you're a spreadsheet person, but track your business. Because if you are in business and you're not tracking your business, then you aren't in business, right? Because what business owner you're going to ask, about how their inventory is, and they're going to be like, oh, I don't know. Like how much, like in Starbucks, how much coffee do we need in a month, right? They need to track that. How many people are coming into that door, right? How many people are using the milk? They need to track all that, all of it, because if you're not tracking, then a lot of people are going to fall through the cracks. You're going to, true story, I'm going to put her on blast. She had someone reach out to her, a year ago about Beachbody?
Oh, I was like, who, me? Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And
I wasn't working at the time.
But still, you could have referred her.
Well, I didn't even see her message.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm glad I didn't refer her because she was my first Success Club point. Okay.
You see that? Get people results.
Don't be
people results. All right. So
not even to your system.
So that was the last one. Make sure you track your business. Please do yourself a favor. All right. And then the final one, which is one of the vitals. So one of the reasons my sister was struggling with this business, she talked about, confidence in herself, which was one of, a big one for her. But another one was that she felt icky inviting. She felt very uncomfortable inviting, and it was very difficult for her. Like I would just be like, and I didn't get it. I'd be like, just invite. Follow up with people. Like, what do you mean?
Well, that's how I feel now. I'm just like, what's the big deal?
Right.
But that's now. So whatever.
But now, while she was like stalking all the coaches and really because she felt that, right? She felt God being like this. Like, I feel like if you are still here, and meaning not like just for the fitness, but if you continue to jump on the calls or go to events or follow coaches, why? Ask yourself why. Why do you continue to do that? It's deeper than just following someone, right? There's a purpose.
And Jorge, my brother-in-law, and my sister asked me, like, it was like those questions, those pointed questions were like coming at you, like right when I was questioning, like, yo, why do I follow this community? Jorge was asking me, like, why are you doing it? And like, it wasn't in a mean way, but it was in that way that's like, why don't you think about it? You know what I mean? And like my sister was saying, like, Jorge and my sister were always saying, like, you are made for this business. And like, you hear when you're ready to hear. When God opens up your ears, you're ready to hear it and receive it. And I think I was just in the space where I was ready to hear it and receive it. And it just like, it's so easy to say, like, it all lined up. And it did feel like it all lined up. But I think this is all, this has all been like in the works kind of thing. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's fine. So one of the things that, in her search and, of wanting to figure out, why was it working for other people and it didn't work for her, she came across a video of one of the coaches who simplified inviting. And so we're going to share it with you guys. And did you want me to share it, or do you want to share it?
You share it, because I just feel like I'm so weird when it comes to technical stuff.
Okay. So she's the educator, but I'm the teacher. So basically, in a simple way. So we've in the process of her, doing her own research without me knowing, I was already revamping the process of inviting and the other systems. And Audrey and I have been also working together to simplify many of the systems for you guys, because, you know, in the season of my life, you guys know, you know, time is of the essence. And so I have to really stretch my day. And so, you know, if you've seen my training on how to close like a pro, you know, I go through the invitation process, and that, you know, typically will happen in a phone call for me, right? On a phone call for me. But lately, I just didn't have time for phone calls, right? And so I was doing a lot of texting and a lot of private messages or direct messages, but they were taking forever, right? And you know, sometimes the person was at work or they were at home, they're mommy, and you know, that response was coming in the next day. And so, you know, to sign them up was taking forever. And so I was like, I need a system where I don't want it to be just a transaction, but I also want it to be where I'm gathering the information I need so that I can help them appropriately when I'm bringing them on, so that I know, you know, their dislikes and their likes and their habits when it comes to food, and, you know, their spending habits when it comes to food, and, you know, and what kind of exercise they like and what kind of exercise they don't like, and what are they struggling with, what are their goals, and why is their, you know, what is their why. I wanted to capture all of that without having to have a phone conversation or having to go back and forth. So I created the Google form, which I've shared with many of you guys, and I'll post the one that my sister and I created together with the questions, and in a way where you gather that information and that the person knows on the other end that, you know what, this person really wants to help me, because they're asking all these questions so that they can then connect me with something that's going to work for me, right? And so we put together the Google form. We'll share it. We'll share that, and I'll also share how I created the Google form, so you can go and do it yourself, and also, you know, how to post it on Instagram. You know, on Facebook is easy. You can, you know, just put that in the comment section of your post. But at Instagram, you have to create a Linktree account. So if you haven't done that, you know, I'll share that as well. So that's one of the things that, you know, I had been working on, because I needed to consolidate the timing that it was taking me in, you know, in that talking time. And then the other piece was that I mentioned is that my sister felt icky about inviting. And so in this call that she discovered, this girl said it the best that I've ever heard anyone put it. And I'm gonna share it with you guys, and then you're gonna have to run with it, because it's that amazing. So seriously, it's that amazing. So let's just say, you know, you go to Macy's, right? Or you go to my favorite store, White House Black Market, right? You walk in, what's the first thing you hear? Hey, hi, how are you? Or welcome, right? They welcome you, and then they give you some time to look around, right? And then what happens? The salesperson comes to you and says, how can I help you? Right? And so they're coming up to you because you are in their store, right? Looking for something. Perhaps you were just, you know, shopping. Window shopping. But maybe you're committed and you're going to buy something. So they're coming because they want to offer you the help. So view your business, your Beachbody business, the same way. If someone is liking your post, if someone is commenting on your post, if someone is viewing your stories, they're in your business. So it's your responsibility to ask that person, how can I help you? And how do you do that? By inviting them to your next group. It's that simple. And so the other thing that, we realize is that I've been inviting guys for 5 years. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I've been inviting. And however, hang on one sec. I've been inviting, and one day I would invite 10 people. The next day I would invite 20 people. But if I saw that it was the middle of the month and I had only helped one person or maybe no one, then I would like go in. I would be inviting 30 people, 40 people, 50 people, right? But I wasn't consistent every single day with the same amount, right? And so this all works like the compound effect. If you haven't read that book, go read it, right? It's about building the momentum day after day, day after day. And so, you know, we've been told before, oh, you know, it's okay. You can invite 5 people a day, right? All right. You know what? It just doesn't cut it. If you want to build a business that's going to pay you a significant amount of money to pay maybe, you know, a bill, your mortgage, whatever it is, maybe build it to a 6-figure income, you have to invite more than 5 people. Minimum 15 people a day. And guys, it is simple. We've put the system together for you. All you got to do is copy, paste, 15. It's going to take you no more than 15 minutes.
And you don't even need to wait for my sister to give you the script, because I started without the script and then we both did the script. Like then we started working on the script. You want to invite 15 people tonight? All you got to do is, hey girl, hey boo, hey love, what up, whatever, however you speak, hello, like however you speak. I have a March fitness group, fit camp opening up, or enrollment for my March camp is open. I would love to invite you. Would you like some details to see if this is a good fit for you? Heart, like that, like some version of that. That's it. Copy paste, and then go to sleep. Like wake up and you're either gonna have people saying no thank you in a really nice way. Some people are not gonna respond, and some people are gonna be like, yeah, send me more details.
Right. It's like you at the store. No, thank you. I got this. Right. And then you go back in the next weekend because you want that dress. It's the same thing. They will continue to watch. You've been doing it for what is this, like 4 weeks now? 3 weeks now, right? We've been doing this. We've been doing the system for 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
3 weeks, right? And your number doesn't have to be our number, you know, our number, but our number is 50 people a day, 5 days a week, right? Your number can be 15 people. That's the minimum. Don't kid yourself. If you're inviting 5 people, that 5 people is like 3 minutes. No, come on. If you only have 3 minutes to dedicate to your Beachbody business, then you don't have a business, period. You should be investing in this business minimum an hour a day if you want it to grow, right? You have to love on this business in order for the business to love you back. So it can be 15. And if you want to, you know, grow a 6-figure business, guys, you got to be inviting minimum 50 people if that's your goal. But you don't have to jump into 50 right away. Start with 15 and, you know, and get used to inviting 15 people for 5 days a week, for 6 days a week, right? Whatever it is that you want to do. But 5 is the minimum, Monday through Friday. And then once you're comfortable and if you've built the habit of inviting 15 people, then you want to do then 20 people and then 25, right? And you build on that. So very simple. You're going to invite, and then guess what? Some people, like my sister said, are going to respond. Other people aren't. And then after that, we have the template for you. So you literally step 1, step 2. Step 2 is that Google form. So, you know, I'm going to post basically our Google form with the questions that you're going to duplicate. You're going to watch the video on how to make it, and you're going to do it. That's your assignment. You're going to leave here, and maybe not tonight, but tomorrow you're going to carve, you know, an hour to create that Google form. And then you're going to post it on your Instagram Linktree account. You're going to create that. That's super simple. And then, guys, you're going to start sharing on Instagram stories if you haven't. Because when people start watching, those are the people that you're going to invite. It's that simple. And you're going to start hashtagging that, because then more people are going to start watching your stories, and more people are going to like your things. And it's really that simple. You're inviting, and it's really a numbers game. If you do the math, it's a numbers game, you know. The more people you invite, the more people that are going to sign up with you. And don't be discouraged. You know, a lot of people are going to just look at it, might say no thank you, and those are the same people that will continue to watch you every single day. Because for the last 3 weeks, the people that I've hit up and either ignore me or said no thank you, still watching my stories. And it can be a little frustrating, which is why we work on this. Because it's okay. They're not ready. And it's actually a study. It takes about seven invitations, 7 followers for someone to say yes. Remember how long it took you to sign up as a coach? How long did it take you? Or how long did it take you to sign up as a challenger?
I'm her sister, and it took me 3 times for her to reach out to me. I'm her sister. Imagine a stranger.
Right.
And like, in case you guys didn't catch this, so if you're wondering, like, who do I send invitations to? The first people are definitely the people that are watching your stories if you are posting stories. The second is the people that are liking your pictures. And then the third is going to be the people who are following you, because if they're there following you, they're following you for a reason. One thing that I do want to say is I went into this thinking of, like, I'm planting my seed. Like, I will hit Success Club because it's going to happen. It is inevitable. When you do that much work, it is inevitable that you will hit Success Club. You don't know who it will be. You're not attached to the answer. You're not attached to a person. You just know that if I do this consistently every day, it will happen, right? And you're not like begging you're inviting. If they say no, okay, cool girl, thanks, because there are other people waiting for you. So I want to put that out there. Do not get attached to, like, I didn't respond to me. It don't matter. Go to the next person. Next. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have 15 to 50, whatever your number is going to be. It could be 30, 25, it could be 18, whatever it is. Like, do not get attached to the person. Your job is to invite and keep it moving. And go through whatever, the next step, like, yes, send me more details. Then step 2 goes in, or whatever the process is. And the reason I'm saying that is because I want you to realize that your success comes from the actions that you put in before, right? It doesn't happen instantly. So I see this as, I'm grateful that I hit Success Club in my first month. I really am, because my first month, the only thing I thought was, I'm planting my seed. I'm planting. I'm spreading it out there for the world to see. Because my thing is, probably they're not watching my stories or looking at my, like, if it's a follower, if I'm inviting from my following, they're probably not looking at my posts. Maybe they're not even looking at my stories, but now they are after I invited them. And so I use one of two, by the way, one of two invites. Like, if I know they liked one of my posts, or if I know that they're watching my stories, I'll say, hey, not sure if you saw my Instagram story. I have, I'm enrolling for my fit camp this month. Would love to know if you are interested, so I can send you some details. If they're not, if it's just some random person I picked out, I'm like, hey, love, just wanted to let you know that I am, I opened I don't even remember. It's something simple. Like, it's not like the wording doesn't even matter, because it's just you saying, hey, I have a fit camp open. Do you want to join me? Do you want some more details? That's it. I keep moving.
It's not elaborate. Look, and if you do the math, because I love math, I love numbers. I'm going to do 15 people 5 times a week, right? Monday through Friday. There's 4 weeks in a month, give or take, right? So that's 15 times 5. It's 75 people per week that you are inviting, legit inviting. Because people say, but I'm inviting. You're inviting the same 3 people. Now, I'm just saying, you're inviting the same 3 people because they told you at the beginning of the month that the minute they get paid on the 15th, they're buying that challenge back. And you know what happens in the 15th? Something came up, right? Does that sound familiar? Something came up. I had to use my money. But if you're not talking to the same 3 people, you're going to be able to help someone because they're going to be inspired by the fact that you keep showing up, right? So 75 a week times 4, 300 people that you would have invited in a month by simply copy, paste, 15 minutes of inviting in a day. And then typically they say that it's 10% of those people will sign up. but we're going to go a little lower, 5%. Let's just say 5% of those people you hit up, sign up. That's 15 people you just help in 1 month. 15.
Like, I always used to wonder, like, yo, how these white girls out here getting all these like success club
I can't breathe.
And then like I would be like, you know, Latino people don't be buying nothing. Like, guys, anything that comes into your mind in this moment that starts with, but that's an excuse, bro. That's an excuse. I don't have enough followers. Grow your following. I don't have enough followers. Yes, I know I have 1,000, but that's not enough. Like, I need more people. I need to play my bet. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like, I don't know why. Like, when I heard this girl talking about her method, I was like, that's so simple. I can do that. I'm like, why nobody told me? I'm sure somebody has said it, but like, I just wasn't listening. But like, when people are like, oh, you know, if you invite 5 people and then you start making friends and then you can, no, make friends through your stories. That's how people get to know who you are. And like, some people are like, oh, that's cold inviting. No, that's not cold inviting. You all up in my page, then we friends. You understand what I'm saying? It's true. Like, I don't have to.
They might be in your cold. They might be in your cold market because you don't know them, but they know you. They know all your business. So that is
somehow in your page. They are following you for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't look at your stories, even if they don't like, guys, do you know how many people's stuff I just pass by and I don't like? But I am on their page daily, okay? I know about their children, their grandmother, and I'll be like, I'm so sorry. I don't post anything though. I'll be all in their lives, and that's how Instagram is. But I think the biggest thing I want you to take away from this is whatever you're thinking about right now that you're like, well, I can't do that. That is an excuse because anybody can do this, okay? Whatever it is. And I want you to ask the questions. I want you to figure out, like, just ask them. And they're all excuses because if we can come up with a solution to them, it's an excuse. And then I get so hyped I forget what I'm going to say. And then the second thing is do not be attached, guys. Listen, it's weird. You have to find a balance between being passionate and caring for people in this business, but also not attaching yourself to an invite and the results of that. You know what I mean? Because really that has nothing to do with you. And also people have been really nice to me. Like, I was ready. Like, I had my guard up. I was like, yo, people are going to come, like, are going to be rude and they're going to be like, don't send me these spam messages. No, like, people are so awesome about it. I think I've had one person who was dumb. Like, oh, do I look fat? You already know I had something to say. And I was real nice. I was like, my groups are not about being fat. They're about being healthy. Don't come for my groups. But like, if that's what you're worried about, that's just another excuse. Go ahead, girl.
Don't attach yourself to the outcome. And the one thing is also, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, one of the things that we do is that we decide for people. Oh, you know, I'm not going to invite, you know, I don't know, Jessica because, you know, she broke, or I'm not gonna invite
go do her nails,
right? Or I'm not gonna invite, I don't know, Amy because, you know, she got too many babies, and you know, you just like make excuses for people. I mean, you make decisions for people, without them like giving them an opportunity to decide on their own, right? So don't assume, don't make any assumptions, and don't attach yourself. And that'll help you through. The other thing, and then we'll open it up for questions. If you have any questions, I think we pretty much covered everything, is guys, if you're wondering like, hey, how do I grow my followers? That's not a call, you know, that's another call we can do. But one of the things that you should be doing that I used to do when I first started my business, because I legit only had my friends and family on Instagram, because I came late in the game. Every time I went to the bathroom, TMI, I would be like, I would go to a page that I liked and I'd be like, follow. Women only, I did. Follow. I would count to 100. And then I'd be like, all right, I'm done in the bathroom. And then I would, you know, do my thing, and then I would get out. I'm dead serious. And then I would do it again. And the next time I went to the bathroom, I would do it again. I would invite a good, at least minimum 300 people a day. And then on Sunday, I would clean them up if they weren't following me back by using Cleaner. That's an app. So you can do the same thing. So the I don't have enough followers to invite is an excuse, because you can grow my sister said my phone died. But she legitimately, talked about everything already. So, yep. So that's it. That's all we got. Do you guys have any questions before? Thank you so much, first of all, for being patient with the difficulties we had earlier. But if you have any questions, let me have them. She texted me from her work phone, if you were wondering. I don't know that she can get on through here. Any questions? You can unmute yourself. No?
Gabby, so when you said on IG, you would click follow to get people to follow you too?
So yes, so basically I would go to, so I just mentioned earlier today that one of my favorite stores is White House Black Market, right? So I would go to their page and I would go and, go to their followers, and then I would open that, and then I would just count 100 women. I would look at the picture. If it was a woman's name and there was a woman on that thing, I would just go follow. And then a bunch of those women would follow me back, right? And sometimes, it takes them a day or two to follow you back. And then at the end of the week, I would go and clean that up. I would just use the app Cleaner. And then there's like a way where you can just, clean out everyone that you're following that's not following you back.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions?
You said you're going to post the Google Docs and everything. Where are you going to post that?
I'll post them on both pages.
Okay.
On our team pages, and then I'll post them. I won't post them on the event page. I'll just focus on the team pages so that you guys have them there. So I'll post the Google form. When you open it, literally, guys, all you got to do is copy and then put it and drop it into a Google form. And there's going to be attached to that a YouTube that I created on how to do a Google form, and then also a YouTube on how to create your Linktree account for Instagram, so that you can attach that application that you create, that Google form, into your profile. Okay?
Great. Thank you.
Anyone else?
What was the video that Elena watched?
What video?
The one that she talked about, that she said she watched something.
A bunch of videos.
Oh, it wasn't one in particular that she said somebody made it really simple?
Kate's video.
Huh?
We'll post it. Oh, yeah. It was a bunch of them.
Okay.
It's one of the, actually, she's the number 2 coach right now in the network. And she started about it about a year ago, right? Like a year and a half ago, something like that. Her story is very moving, guys. You'll watch it. We'll share it, and then you can watch it. But very basically is that she just doesn't, you're coming into my business, so it's my responsibility to help you. That's how she takes this. And the other thing that she mentioned actually was that you have a gift, right? If it changed your life somehow, then why is it so icky to share it with someone else, right? It's just like, the Diva Curl. For me, I swear, I see a curly girl and I'm like, and I know that because I could tell, I'll be like, you need to get on this, right? So it's the same way. You genuinely love the products you use, and then you share them because they change your life. That's as simple as it gets. But when you start to attach an outcome to it, and when you start to assume for other people, is when we'll run into the problems. Cool? Oh, and Audrey, we had to announce a couple things. I think it was 2 things. One is, I can't remember what the second one was. Maybe she'll remember. Audrey and I are opening up our ongoing coach basics training. So if you have any new coaches that you want to connect, we're going to open it up tomorrow, and it is utilizing the social learning platform on Facebook. So basically it's going to have units just like we've done in the past with challenge groups, and it's basically going to teach them all about the vital behaviors, all about inviting, and in the inviting videos is really about, confidence and how people do it and how to, and how you could do it. But the way we share tonight is super simple, don't overcomplicate it. And that's why tracking is important, because guess what? You are going to have a lot of following up to do because people are going to start responding. So tracking is super important. So one of the things that that I've been doing is I don't write the names of the people I'm inviting, because that would be 50 people times 5. It would be 250 people's names, and not everyone's going to respond to me. So the next day, when I have like 15 responses from the 50, that's when I write down their names. Even if they said no, because guess what? That's no right now. That's just right now. So that means that it's my responsibility to follow up with them next month and invite them to my next group and be like, hey girl, did you see that I'm enrolling for my next group? Is it a good time now? Right? So that's when I write the names, because otherwise, I don't know, I would be full. I will have 1,000 people in a month. I don't got time for that. Right? Because not all of them are going to respond. So that's another trick on how to track. Just write down the people who are responding back. Anything? Audrey, do you remember what else we had to announce?
Yeah, I'm doing a sneak peek. I'm a guest on another team's coach sneak peek. She's going to interview me tomorrow. I sent an invite to all of you guys. So if you have anyone that you want to add to that, to take a look at the coaching opportunity, add them in.
Yes. Anything else? Good. Okay, the call went a little longer, but as you can tell, we're a little excited and passionate about the 5 things that my sister shared, but 2, the newest way to invite that is simple, it's not icky, and it works. She hit Success Club in 1 week last month, and by the 10th, she had already helped 3 people already, and she's not done. So that being said, if no one has any other questions, guys, we're excited to see where your business transforms utilizing this method. 15 people is the minimum. Don't do no 5. Don't talk to me for 5. Seriously. All right. Have a great night. Love you guys.